of our closing special conversation with Mr. Mauricio Macri from the FIFA Foundation. Honored to welcome him. He's the former president of Argentina. He joins us for a special conversation about how the world, about the work that he's done with FIFA, especially on the foundation part, under his tutelage, and is leading us to a better world which celebrates sport for everyone involved in it. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Mauricio Macri.
How are you, sir?
I'm very good. How are you? I sat before you. It was very rude of me.
If you are good, I'm good.
I'm good to know that you're good. Welcome, welcome. Okay. As they say, the best for last, Mr. Mauricio, and
the last but not the least.
Last but not the least, these people are very excited for our conversation to close what has been a great two-day summit here in Riyadh. To start off with, someone who's been head of state and now, working with football, closely with FIFA and the foundation. How do you see the role of football today, especially in bridging cultures, the gaps in between, cross-cultural? Where does football come in, and what role does it play to make us more, let's say, divided than anything else?
I love that question. But for a second, let's zoom out, and we can see that we are living in a world which is defined by the word uncertainty. After the COVID pandemic, drive all us crazy with those unending lockdowns, then the criminal invasion of Russia into Ukraine, recently the conflicts in the Middle East, and in addition to that, additionally, we see dissatisfied and frustrated citizens, despite that, thanks to the technological revolution that we are going through, the standard of living is constantly improving. So why so much unhappiness? And I have a theory, that we are in the dawn of a new era, the era that I call the expectations revolution era. And so as to go back to your question, maybe some other time we will have more time to go deeply in what means that. But I want to say that in that uncertainty, among the few certainties that you can find in the world, that football will continue being more and more in our lives. People are more and more interested in their teams, in their players. The social media had created a new engagement between the idols and the fans in a world that still, the football world, that's still led by Europe. But then you see the US coming in very strong, and they are organizing 2 World Cups in 2 years that will boost that process. Next, a country called Saudi Arabia, crashing in with a very aggressive strategy that we can see only this part of purchasing the most popular figures of the football, but under that there is an intelligent strategy to work, especially at the academy level. That's where every team has to work if it wants to have a competitive team in long-term basis. And finally, I don't think that the Chinese, my dear friend Xi Jinping, will not have a second try. So this will bring maybe 4 polos for football, 4 big markets. So, and people increasing their engagement, increasing the passion, and this is wonderful because football unites the world. So many countries that have disputes, now they dispute kicking the ball. That's much more friendly than using weapons. So I think that really, as Gianni Infantino likes to say, football unites the world. Have just went through maybe the best World Cup ever. Maybe will be the best till 2034. Maybe this one will be even better. But in one city, fans of different countries from all around the world, they all share that city, 30 days, fun, no violence, no problems, only laughs and tears when they were disqualified, disqualified. So I'm a man of football. I spent 12 years leading Boca Juniors, the most popular team in Latin America. Was maybe among the most beautiful experiences I had in my life. And I can tell you that if in one statement, football is the new religion of the world.
There's no doubt about that. Just to go back to the last World Cup, they did all that against the odds, against the negativity. People trying to not make that World Cup happen, and then look at the final, for example. We were rewarded with a final that, in my opinion, was one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. Not just the best final, one of the best games I've ever seen. Organization, you mentioned one city. It's amazing what they did.
It will be very difficult to see something like that again, because it was just a tiny country geographically, had one city. So it's ideally, now we are going to the opposite, traveling from Mexico to Canada and then back to the States will be very complicated, very complicated. But let me tell you that World Cup was amazing. It will be a surprise if somebody can produce something better because of this geographically coincidence of all the stadiums. But at the same time, for an Argentine, was the dream of our lives. Now, many like to say that the new Mecca of every Argentine is Qatar. No? And with that final, that was a Hollywood final, because the match was close. The superiority of Argentina till the minute 79 was absolute. No, they didn't even the French didn't even shoot to the goal of Argentina. And suddenly, in 1 minute, we were tied, and then the extra time, and then that famous stop of Dibu Martinez. No, I thanks God I could test my heart that I'm okay, because it was for a heart attack. For an Argentine, it was impossible. And something very strange happened, my friend. But for the first time in the football history, that 90% of the football world wanted one player to win the World Cup. Have you seen something like that?
No.
Because it wasn't Argentina. It was Messi. Everybody wanted Messi to finish his career winning a World Cup. Energy exists, and that energy was in every match. So I truly believe. A funny story was that I had an appointment with my friend Yassir Rumayyan at the PIF the day after the first match. Can you believe it? I had to travel here to Saudi. Since I entered the airport and showed my passport, everybody was laughing at me like you. I couldn't believe it. The day after, Saudi Arabia defeats Argentina. That is the challenge, the favorite of the. I never seen such a happiness in this country that day, And then when football is like that, against Poland, you deserve to win and you miss I don't know how many goals, And then you have to bet on us, because you are going to be the one and only that in that World Cup defeat Argentina, and it happened.
I think Qatar holds a special place in both the Argentines' hearts and the Saudis' hearts because of our victory against you. I saw some stat actually, and it said it was the least likely result in World Cup history. So the heaviest underdogs, like 200 or 300 to 1. And
200 to 1.
Sorry?
200 to 1, you said?
200, yeah. Something. It was the highest odds for an underdog to win. So that will forever hold a special place in my heart. I think it was probably one of the best days of my life, I have to say. And then for you guys to go ahead and win the World Cup after a defeat that really wasn't part of the plan in a million years for the Argentine Federation. No. To pick yourself up and then to go ahead and win the World Cup is
you couldn't miss one single match after that. It was unbelievable. And you know, it's destiny is wonderful, no? Because if we won that match, I'm sure that we were not going to win the World Cup because the coach changed the team after that match.
Did he?
Changed the midfielders. No? And McAllister was crucial and was not at the first team. Enzo Perez was crucial, wasn't at the first team. The same with Julian Alvarez. So football is magic. We would always surprise you. It's such an unbelievable game that everything can happen. And that's why we are so passionate about that. And you know, the former vice president of FIFA, Grondona, was the president of our federation. And he was against including technology because he said that one thing that was very important of football is to continue the debate during the whole week about the match, no? Including, of course, the referees, no? And the mistakes or no mistakes. And it was technology, there are going not to be more discussions. My God, he was completely mistaken because with the VAR, it's much more discussions even. No? It's amazing what happens with that VAR. No? Yes. And we shot the same goal twice. And that match, by the way, in the spirit of the Argentine team was terrible because they scored 3 goals in the first half and they were all in offside for 1 centimeter. No? Yeah. But I'm against that rule.
That's still offside.
Still, but I'm against. No, it was legal. I'm not complaining. It was legal, but I'm against that rule. I think that it will benefit a lot football if offside is not anymore. If some part of both players are in the same line, and that will create more situations and there will be score more goals. So that will be improved a lot again because the only sad thing about football is 0-0. That's a sad moment, no? Because you go to the stadium and you feel that you deserve more, no?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because in the American games, or not the sports they play in the States, they don't have draws. They play until a winner happens, and then when MLS came into prominence, it was the first time where the fans had to get used to the result potentially being a draw. Ice hockey, basketball, baseball, NFL, they play until a winner comes. You always want to see a winner obviously come out of it.
Yes, well, but they are getting used now to football as they should start naming it because they say soccer. It took them a long period, no? But now it's rocketing, no? But it's quite incredible because you have like 15, I've read 15 or 16 million kids playing our football. And then they go to watch American football. This is quite incredible. You watch what you play, you know. But slowly that's changing, no? That's changing. And I think that, well, they're coming, I think. And with all the immigration that they receive, that mix of cultures will benefit them. And I think that in the future they will be competing for the first places. No, so that's coming.
What do you think players in Saudi, current players, future players, can learn from such a historic win? Sorry to keep going back to it last time. But what do you think we can learn from arguably, I would say it was our best win in history, to beat the eventual champs, to beat Lionel Messi in a World Cup? What could we take from that as we gear up to one day hosting our own World Cup?
Well, I think that learning the football culture takes time, no? Takes time. And I went through the plan that the Ministry of Sports did for Saudi, you know, and I was really impressed. I think that plan is very intelligent, has combined the successful experiences in La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga, or what we all do in terms of the academy. The academy is crucial, as we said at the beginning. No, you have to work hard to grow up your own talent. No, That's crucial. And you have to give them the opportunity to play with the best ones, no? As we are doing now. Because you improve. No? If you enter a team in which everybody passes the ball correctly, it's easy to play. No? So, it's not difficult to understand. So in my days at Boca Juniors, I invested a lot in the academy. And I always say that my dream was to play with a team with 8 players coming from the academy. I reached 6. That was a record because Boca was the biggest team in Argentina. It was very easy to purchase the good players of the smaller teams. But I really believe, because what is also very important, no? You have to create a winning mystique, personality, no? Because there is a psychology. No? You can see how many matches turn around in the last 5 minutes, because the one that's leading thinks that this is a miracle that they are going to win. No? And they start going back without realizing they're going back. And the best way to keep the result is keep the ball. And they start throwing the ball away. So they say, what are you doing? But it's psychologically. And in the opposite side, maybe Real Madrid, is unbelievable what they did in the last 5 years, winning Champions League, local champions, always in the last 10 minutes, and last 5 minutes in the extra time. No? Say, stop, what are you doing, guys? You can't keep doing the same thing. But they were true believers that something was going to happen. So I think that it's a question of education, and of course, to resist the tension, the pressure, no? Because as we're talking at the beginning, if every player is so exposed in the social media, and even if you tell them, no, don't read what they say about you, you are the protagonist, don't take care about the comment, they go and see. No? And to resist all that pressure, being young kids of maybe 18, 20, 24, they have to be as much as well educated as you can. No? So at my days, I decided that if you wanted to play at the first division, you should finish school, no? Because there are tools to resist that pressure, no? So I think that because it's nowadays always in the history of the world, the key problem, my friend, has been the ego of the protagonist. But now with this evil device, it's worse than ever. So ego destroys the best player, the best coach, because they are so exposed and they can't keep the balance. So you have to help them building a strong institution. If you can achieve that the institution is over every idol, including coaches, including the authorities, and there are rules, and everybody has to fulfill the rules, you will never have a solid club, a competitive club, a glory mystic at the club, no? And that means that maybe you have to fire the idol of the club because he arrives late to every training. And they say, you have to arrive at the same time as the young players because you are the example. So that takes a cost, an initial cost, no? And if I'm not wrong, here you did it the first step because when they created the new rules, the first to go to relegation was the most popular team. And was a big discussion around if they're going to change the rule for the only time because it was the first. And in a brilliant decision, the minister, backed by my dear friend MBS, said no. The most popular team went to relegation, they have to go to relegation. And that changed the history of the football competition here. From there on, you can build something because everybody knows that there is a rule. No? And in these environments, it's a challenge because it's such a level of passion that reasonable people outside the stadium, when they go in the stadium, they're all crazy. They're crazy. They lost their minds. No? So it's fascinating. Football is fascinating. Let me tell you, it's among the experiences more exciting that you can go through.
So what do you tell players today? I mean, 20, 30 years ago, they would just read articles in the newspaper. Today, at their fingertips, they can find out what the world is saying about them. What's your advice for players when it comes to social media and checking news, checking X?
To focus on who they are, which are their obligations, and of course, they must use the social media. It's another source of income, no? Very important. But if they start doubting if they are sex models of the world instead of players, they end up not being neither of them, no? So, but for that you need the club behind, helping them, a good coach, a good team around the squad, no? Because it's very difficult. And succeeding at such a lower age is very difficult, no? So what I would tell them is, thanks God now they have a role model that's perfect. Lionel Messi. Messi, during his whole career, from his home to the stadium to train, back, he married, wife, take the kids to school, train, home. And he had been the best for how many years? 13 years.
Yeah.
So the best ever, because there is a discussion between him and Maradona. It's still under discussion, but I still believe that because of the amount of matches that he attended and the amount of goals that he attended, and because always sports is evolving, so being the best now should be that I can imagine Djokovic playing against Pete Sampras. He will kill him playing. So the same, we should think about football, no? So but now there is a role model that shows that if you are devoted to what you are doing and you are passionate about, because it's a gift being a football player, no? I finally accepted to be chairman of Boca Juniors because I didn't have the skills to be the striker of Boca Juniors. My dream was, from I was a young kid, to be the striker of Boca, but very soon I realized that I didn't have any chance at all.
So, on the subject of Boca Juniors, you took over as president in 1995, and you took the club through one of its most successful periods. What leadership lessons did you learn from your experience there that you then carried it with you in your life, be it in politics or in your role now?
First, let me tell you, it's more probable that you will have more difficulties to run a very popular football club than to run a country. It's amazing. And I've been in both situations because nobody cares about politics. If things are more or less, don't bother me, authorities, but everybody cares about football.
So the club was harder.
Oh, when I started, River, that is the main opponent of Boca, won 5 consecutive tournaments. I couldn't go out of my home. All the Boca fans say, "What are you doing, Mr. President? It's stupid. Come on, no, it's useless." And they say awful things to me. But I'm building a club. It will take me some time, 2 years and a half, to turn around the cycle. No, so that's football. No? Everybody talks every day about football. So that's a lot of tension. It's only a game, but ends up like the end of the life, no, of everybody when somebody loses. That's why the institution, the first lesson is that even in sports, it's passion. More than ever, you need an institution with authorities, no, in which the players play and talk about how they play, not how the team play. The coach decides the lineup and talks about the players, but doesn't talk about the policies of the club. And the chairman of the club and the committee of the club can talk about the lineup of the team. No, I always thought that I knew more about football than my coaches, but I shut up and say I have a coach. He's the responsible, and if every part of the chain keeps the role, and the three parts work together, you can find a cycle of 10 years like we did in Boca, winning 70 tournaments. We are the last and the only in 30 years that we defeated Real Madrid in a final in Japan in the Intercontinental. This is proud with it. 2 goals scored by Palermo, an amazing striker that we have. There is a Boca fan here. What is the Boca? Do you remember Palermo? No? What a striker! My God.
Is this the Confederations Cup, FIFA Club World Cup?
Yes, it was an Intercontinental Club World Cup in Japan.
What year was it?
What year was 2000?
2000. What eventually became the FIFA Club World Cup?
And now it's coming. Now it's coming, the FIFA Club World Cup. That was an idea of Infantino, and the first one is going to be in the US next year. That will be a nice experience. Different from a classic World Cup, but because it's a discussion, no, among if the people is more fan of their local team or of the national team. What do you think?
You're flipping it on me now. I mean, when Saudi plays over here, the streets are empty. When the 2 heavyweight teams of Riyadh play, the streets are empty. But you know what? Honestly, what I love seeing is that when Saudi plays, you don't see an Ittihad, Ahli, Nasr, Shabab, Hilal. You see everyone wearing the team colors. So they park their love for their clubs aside, and they come together to support the team. More so than ever, I think, when we beat Argentina. Sorry, I won't do it again. It was the best day of our lives, I'm sorry.
And I came that day, I came the day after.
Until December 11th.
It's unbelievable. The day after I was here. No.
You must have been the only person on the planet, Argentinian, who went into Saudi Arabia that day.
No, I'm the only, one and only. They should create a monument. He had the courage to come the day after. No?
You certainly deserve a statue.
Thanks God was celebrating the MBS declared celebration day. No? So there were no much people around. So
yes,
I met the very few.
Yes.
No. I started the meeting at the PIF, and after 20 minutes I say, sorry, but I came here to work. So can we change subject and start working, because they couldn't stop talking about the match. But those 2 goals, they shoot 100 times more. They will never make it. No,
but they
impossible angles. Impossible. The first one, it was an impossible angle. Impossible angle.
See, when you hit the ball perfectly, when you hit where you want it to go and it goes perfectly, that's what he did. So, I mean,
let's change.
He meant it.
Let's change the subject.
Were you talking about the first goal or the second?
No. The second was wonderful. It was like a Messi goal. But the first one was from an angle that was impossible. The ball bounded twice, just before the hand of the goalkeeper. So I studied that carefully. It took.
Think we can get the goal up on the big screen?
Again.
Producers? Majid, speak to them. See if we can. Just Salim's goal. I really appreciate you being lighthearted about all of this, obviously. You guys got the last laugh. With what you do in FIFA today, in the foundation, can you tell us a little bit about the work that you put in today on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we all know the key role that sports play in sustainable development. No? So FIFA Foundation, having the chance of representing the most popular sport in the world, has mobilized football to make a social impact. No? And in real matters, in concrete things that are affecting, no? Starting by childs and young kids, gender equality, refugees. It's a subject that's more and more a problem in the world, and education aspects. And I think that we have just started a few years ago, but we have achieved quite important things in around the world. If I may name, I could like to name that we are at the largest refugee camp in Bangladesh with a presence, game, football, education. We are leading a program of digital education combined with football. We are already in Mauritania, and Belize, and Paraguay, and very soon in India. And we dream to reach 1 million kids, in which we will teach them digital language, education, robotics. They will build their own robot to play football among other kids. So combining skills, and let's say, and we have 140 NGOs from all the world doing social activities related with football and works. And I think that we are just starting. And we like to say that's the favorite statement of our President Infantino, football unites the world. No? And it's nice to bring together different members of the society, companies, governments, and ONGs, and take ahead this type of achievements. No? So I really believe that there is room to, thanks to football, call people to help.
Yeah, so you've been in Saudi now many times, and you know how much we love our football. And you probably also took note of how much has been invested, not just money, time, putting the team together, the bidding committee. There are a few hundred people working in that entity under the Ministry of Sports. So you see how eager we are to one day host a World Cup in 2034. And in a week's time, inshallah, when we are awarded that, what advice do you have for us in preparing for the World Cup? What would you like to see in Saudi 10 years from now?
I'm sure. I have been traveling a lot the last 4 years, and this 2030 vision is amazing. That includes this World Cup, same as the many other events that are coming here. And I think that it's nice that you are open your country. You are a close country in terms of education traditions, and now we are opening. And I think this football is a unique opportunity because everybody will come here. You have the whole centrality 2 years before, And I think that will be a wonderful moment to show your culture, your friendship, your capabilities, showing how you will use the new technologies, AI, to organize even a better World Cup. And then the key point will be how to find a way not to put so much pressure on your national team. That will be the key. You have to hire the best psychologists, because you can see that more and more the local teams are collapsing. Happened with Brazil against Germany. Remember
7-1.
That semi-final was a disaster. It was a psychological semi-final, And the same happened to the Qatar team. The Qatar team, I watched them play. They played much better than they finally did at the World Cup. But the pressure of being local.
They eventually won the Asian Cup.
Yes, that's why. They won it again. And then when they went to the World Cup, it was a disaster because of the pressure. So you have to work on that, because the perfect dream is we organize, we win. But it's not so easy. So especially when you don't have the tradition. And even having the tradition as Brazil that had it, they couldn't. The players couldn't afford to keep all that pressure. So you have to work in both directions. But the most important one, of course, for the fans is winning. But for the country is showing who you are. And that will be a unique opportunity. I'm sure that you are going to do an amazing job.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, former President of Argentina, Mr. Mauricio Macri. Thank you, sir. Thank you.